Hello and welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. We have two cameras for the first time in Boys Gone Wild's rich, illustrious, trophied history.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
We've got new chairs. You can't see them.
Yeah. So
we've got a new table. You can't see that.
Yeah. So we invested in making the space quite a bit better. But then we decided to use two cameras so you can't really see anything.
To take everything out of the equation.
Yeah.
The table's very nice.
Yeah.
I feel a lot more powerful in this chair.
Definitely. It feels like what we're saying has a lot more gravitas.
Exactly.
Which I think, well, how old were we when we started this pod? 22, 23?
Yeah. 20, 21. I don't know.
Yeah, boys. But now, 27, we're approaching a more dignified age.
We used to talk about like women and alcohol.
Yeah, and now we're talking about
poo and toilet. The chairs are relevant to the content.
Yeah. Also, there's a bit of a arms race going on between me and Andrew, who has the comfiest jumper every week.
That's true. I can't believe this was a Cold War. You've now brought it up.
It's literally a Cold War. It's a chilly war.
God, we're good on these chairs.
Yeah, because every week we're going to come back with comfier jumpers.
I've got fucking some in my locker.
I
had one last week.
You haven't even scratched the surface.
I think I've got two more.
Well, I had some very comfy jumpers, and then I saw you get some really comfy. You win today, maybe.
Yeah, it's just if you rolled yours down, mine's a bit Claudia Winkleman. The Traitors.
Yeah, no, it's comfy. It's comfy.
It's
no one's saying it's not comfy.
So one of my friends said it looks like a woman's jumper.
But this is more.
So that's because it's cropped.
I guess this is more kind of sophisticated 50-year-old Swedish man.
It's a bit weird
with a hot younger wife. Wears Birkenstocks. All of his mugs don't have handles. Do you know what I mean?
I don't like that.
He just holds like an egg-shaped coffee cup.
Why?
Because it's Hege. It's like the Scandinavian design. It's just like minimal design. Everything's like that.
Are the mugs thick enough to not feel the heat, or is it?
Yeah, it's got some Korean technology.
Right? Yeah. We've got some lights in the studio.
Yep. So Andrew insisted on getting some anxiety lamps.
Yeah. Well, I used to be a chill guy.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I think I turned 24.
Yeah.
And then Horatio, I used to be a big light guy that didn't really care about anything.
Yeah, so a small light guy actually would be...
Why?
Sorry.
I used to be.
It's a big light, as in the main light. I thought you were saying I'm big into
I know,
lights.
I used to be a small light guy. I was a small light guy into big lights.
Yeah.
Now I'm a big light guy into small lights.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
You're fiddling around a lot over there. We all
good.
I'm just getting to grips with all the new.
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff.
There
Charlie.
is Charlie. He's surrounded by lamps as well.
Charlie doesn't have grey matter in his brain, so it's hard for him to learn new skills.
Yeah.
It'll take me some time.
So I used to be a big light guy. I just didn't really think about it, and then you came into my life.
Yeah.
So it's getting quite emotional, isn't it?
And shone a lamp onto the way you're...
Shone a light onto my lighting.
Shone a warm orange lamp
onto my big
dimly.
Light, onto my big light routine.
There's a lot going on.
There's
there.
too much going on. There's too much power.
My ex-flatmate, your current flatmate, Adam, for longer than you actually, quite proudly...
Freak.
Was into the big light. So...
What do you mean longer? Still does it.
Still.
I'm coming back on a cold Sunday evening. He's cuddled up with his girlfriend on the sofa, blankets akimbo, watching, I don't know what they watch, fucking Bake Off.
Yeah.
And they're there with the big light and the big kitchen light on. I come in and I'm blinded.
It's crazy.
And I come in and I abuse them and say, you've got to change this every time. Never a change.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he says he prefers...
But his girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
So what's going on with her? Is that Stockholm syndrome?
I think it's Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, the lighting I'm happy about. I've pimped out my bedroom recently, as you know. I've got that wave lamp thing. Yeah. It looks very anti-anxiety. It does, but it works and it helps. So leave me alone.
But in our old house, Adam would sit watching the TV like a sim, because even your big lights aren't as bad as the rotary big lights.
Yeah, they're not.
And he would just. Yeah, just sat like.
I don't understand.
Click on sofa, sit on sofa.
I understand
TV.
People that do it because they haven't seen the light.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
I can't
think it's these chairs. There's a lot of people. Yeah. If you haven't seen the better alternative, I understand. If you don't know what you're doing, fair enough. If we have adequate lighting in that living room, yet he still chooses to put the big light on. Lock him up. No, Charles.
Apparently, if you're more at peace with yourself, you're much less fussed about the lighting. I have a very chill and sort of confident and calm housemate.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck about the lighting.
Yeah.
He'll sit in like he'll sit in like the dentist basically.
I think maybe there's an exterior of chill,
but I guess it's like it's the philosophical question: is a pig rolling in shit truly happier than an anxious professor at the opera, right?
Like, I think a pig rolling in shit is happier.
Yeah, but like, what is that actually? Is it even or even a professor enjoying himself at the opera? Is it, you know?
I think it's probably a moot point to try it.
Moot.
I think it's probably a moot point to try and extrapolate different kinds of happiness to different species.
Yeah, like is it a lack of anxiety, or is it like there's just nothing going on in there?
I think if I
in his head, he's got
choice,
a big light on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
so what you're saying is Adam's rolling around in shit. Yeah. And I don't disagree.
Yeah. You peer into that brain, it's just got one light dangling off.
Yeah.
Completely
flickering.
bright. You know. Yeah. It doesn't have the complexities of a lot of small orange hue.
I just don't believe that
lamps.
anyone can actually enjoy it more. But
right, should we talk about the Chagos Islands?
No. I don't want to do the fucking Chagos Islands. Go on there, let's do the fucking Chagos Islands. What are the Chagos Islands?
It's a great question. I've
been here working on that plan for 20 minutes, and he's come in and brought it to the Chagos.
I don't know why I care about the Chagos Islands. It just really made me laugh, the Chagos Islands, because it's quite a funny... a lot of people say it's the end of the British Empire, right? Because the sun might finally set on the British Empire. Can
you answer the question before you start analysing it? What are the Chagos Islands?
It's a tiny, really small...
Yeah. I've heard of them.
Strip of land in the Indian Ocean, right? And basically, Keir Starmer is giving them back to Mauritius.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it just always made me laugh because on GB News, there'll be a lot of people. No one knows what the Chagos Islands are or has ever known what the Chagos Islands are, apart from maybe 15 people.
Yeah.
But when we found out...
They live on the Chagos Islands.
They live on the Chagos Islands. When we found out... that... the Chagos Islands were going, people were up in arms. They couldn't believe it. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. I mean, I'm gonna have to. I was the one who screwed. Yeah.
Yeah, we left a ratio to the construction of the chairs. We're fine.
They were annoying that bit. But yeah, people are like, you can't give away the Chagos Islands. You're giving away. People were like livid.
In fairness, I don't know what they are, but I want them.
Do you know what I mean? But it was just made me like. There was a funny. It felt like very like what it means to be British now.
Yeah.
Finding out. You've still got a couple of islands, and then the only reason you're finding out about them is because you're losing.
We're giving them away
and being livid about it.
The East India Company,
but you didn't know you had them, and now you're like, "What the fuck?
Get me on my island!"
That was my favourite thing we had.
Not the Chagos Islands.
Chagos Islands.
We love the Chagos. Where are
they? Indian Ocean, I think.
How many people live there? 3,000.
Yeah. But yeah, and they're called Chagosians.
Why are they in the news now then?
But I think the deal's being put on hold, so we might still have the Chagos Islands.
Yeah, no.
Well, I wouldn't mind. We could do a pod. It would be great to do a pod from the Chagos Islands.
It would.
To be on the front line of the Chagos Islands.
It would.
We could be the biggest podcast in the Chagos Islands.
Just stop Chagos sale.
Wait. We could popular distribution. Crawley, West Sussex.
Population distribution.
No, look at this. A community of Chagosians settled in Crawley, West Sussex.
Down the
Look
road
at that.
Yeah. So wait, the Chagos Islands have a population of 3,000, and in Sussex there's 3,500 of them.
No, hold on. Yeah, work that out.
Yeah.
Because those two things can work. So
can they?
Let's go through it.
Oh, because
it's a maths problem.
Because there was 6,500 before, and then 3,500 left.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
It is surprising, moderately, you know.
More than half of them
What's
left.
wrong with the Chagos Islands? Seems like if they're preferring Crawley to the Chagos Islands, then I think we should probably give it away.
Yep. But we want to keep the Chagos Islands.
We're big Chagos heads. If you cut us open, we bleed Chagos.
So, Keir, don't give away.
Listening,
you better not fucking touch our islands.
Yeah, or our coverage is going to be much more anti-Keir if we let go of those. But that shit. Anyway,
if you're a Chag, if you're from Chagos,
if you're Chaggy,
a Chaggy do.
If you're a Chag, how are you feeling about England? And how are you feeling about the whole faff that's going on?
Well, I think they'll probably like England.
Yeah, I mean, they're normally just even more racist. Normally, if you find one of these islands, there's even more racist English people there. Because it's only them there. And they also...
they're not even expats,
they're more English than people here.
Yeah.
Because they sit on there and they'll be in a tropical island and they'll cart in spam from home.
Yeah,
no one hates
cart. It's tough to get to an island.
So I'd actually want to meet the Chagosians.
Chagosians.
Yeah.
Chago boys.
But I support your sovereignty, you know.
No, you don't.
I don't support your
No,
sovereignty.
we don't support the
We don't
sovereignty.
support sovereignty.
They're UK will get angry if not. Anyway.
Do you have a gripe?
I've got a gripe this week.
Yeah, go on.
The size of the seeds in avocados, the pips in avocados.
Now, is it a pip?
Yes, it's a seed.
Is it a nut? No, it's not a nut.
It's the seed. I did actually research this before going public with it. What the fuck is going on with the size of the seeds in avocados?
Yeah.
Now, seeds, they're to spread more avocados.
Yeah.
Is it the only thing on the planet where the seed is bigger than the initial thing?
Well, it's like a cricket ball.
It's like a human mother pushing out a baby that's bigger than the mother.
Wait, okay. I see.
The seed is technically not bigger. It is.
Yeah.
Think about how much you get out of an avocado.
Yeah.
Put that together, smaller than the seed. And it's gross. Let's talk about it.
Go on.
Let's be honest.
Right.
Avocados, pound for pound, is it a fruit or vegetable? I don't care.
I don't care, but it's the seed, so it means it's a fruit.
Yeah,
Fruits
sure.
of seeds.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a fruit or
It's
vegetable.
sort of irrelevant.
I don't care if anything's a fruit or vegetable. That's another gripe. Those fucking conversations about, is it a fruit or vegetable? Who gives a fuck?
No one gives a fuck, and I agree with you.
Secondary gripe.
But let's talk about, is it a fruit or vegetable? Not officially, but actually. Like tomatoes are actually a vegetable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're getting away from the mainstream media.
Yeah.
We're getting away from big
Tomatoes are veg.
big salad.
Technically, they're fruit. It's a boring thing to bring
Avocado.
up, but they're not in a fruit salad.
Avocado's veg.
It's veg.
It's veg.
Yeah.
It's fucking veg.
It's
Charlie.
not. It's not the most veggie veg. It's not broccoli.
It's not broccoli. Many
But
things
it's
are.
But it's veg. It's veg.
It's
veg.
Chaz.
You can
Chaz,
make tea
shoot.
out of avocado seeds. You can have avocado seed tea.
So does that make it more of a fruit or a veg?
That makes it more of a veg. It's like more of a kind of grain. It's
Right.
a kind of
Right.
it's an
As
essence.
usual, slightly muddying the waters yet again. Right, okay. I suppose it's a point.
Do you like actual avocado?
I love avocado.
I love it. Love it.
Love it.
Oh.
I have, on average, one avocado a day.
Okay.
And that's like genuine numbers. Because a lesser man than me would have said like 2.
But
But I'm
avocado
telling you the actual truth.
Would you agree? I like avocado when done right, but it's one of those ones where I can easily get the ick. You
Yeah,
know,
but
baked beans is like that. Sometimes it hits you wrong.
I'm past that.
Yeah.
I'm
With
past
avocado.
that. Yeah, I don't care if that shit's got brown all over it. Get it in my belly.
Right.
Get it in my belly. It's the creaminess it adds to
Sure.
things. I'm a big creamy boy in
All
general.
right. So, and it's just the pip you
It's
think
the
is
pip
disgusting.
because I love the taste of it. It's been normalized. Why are the seeds so fucking big?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You plant, what thing do you plant that look at the size of it.
Yeah.
You plant that and then you get something that's basically as big as that.
Yeah.
Is that not the most inefficient
It's
thing?
inefficient. Well, I imagine it's sort of like my 500-pound life. That's what the seed is. It's documentary fat in the seed community. If you think
So
about
all the other veg are laughing at them.
well, a lot of the other veg, if you think about the output that they do for their size,
Yes.
it'll be a lot like, I don't know, a raspberry seed can build a whole tree. You know?
Exactly. And these little cunts are what are they doing? It's just like they're just it's like they're duplicating.
Yeah.
It's like Dolly the lamb. Is she a lamb or a sheep? She's a sheep.
Don't know
Dolly
what-
the sheep. The first thing that was cloned
Oh,
genetically.
yeah.
Dolly the sheep.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that.
But is that lazy? Is Dolly the sheep lazy? I think we're getting our analogies are starting
it's
to run
against
dry.
nature.
Yeah.
The seed's too big.
Yep.
You can't when you plant something, you want it to get bigger. Not
Well, hold
stay the fucking same.
Right.
Charlie's just come
Charlie's used AI to get us an answer here.
What did he type in? Why are avocado pips so big? Okay. Time. Right. He's I'm just going to read out the thing he highlighted. You can't change it now.
Yeah.
Seed size is a relic from a time when giant animals roamed the earth, could easily swallow and disperse avocado seeds, making it an evolutionary anachronism.
Okay, so it's sort of like nipples, right? It's
Wait.
like we don't know why they're there. Well, it's more like it's
Male nipples.
Yeah, like male nipples.
We
Yeah.
do because everyone starts as a woman in the fetus.
Is that
Yeah.
it? Let's get it up. Come
In
on.
the fucking womb. Every
Why do men have nipples? Is that confirmed?
that is an Andrew Kerwin stamp of approval.
Why do
Men have nipples because they develop in the womb before sexual differentiation occurs.
We're androgynous.
So that's not necessarily true.
All right. Well, then I have a gripe, which is why are we still talking about men have nipples as if we haven't solved it?
You are.
No, people.
My
are.
gripe is you.
No, people. We've solved it, and people are acting
No,
like we haven't solved it.
No one's talking about that.
They
anymore.
are, they
I've
are.
had this conversation with a few people
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Oh, really? It's not.
It's
not
not
on the
happening
thing.
anymore. Is it passing the side? It's more
Yeah,
just like
I pass
also
it.
it's
It's
a
passing.
fucking nightmare to get through. Like when you're cutting it up, and then you just gotta like peel it out. They're just too big.
Yep.
You passed
It's passed. It's passed.
Okay, that's good.
Would you want to play cricket with an avocado seed?
rounders?
Round is quite. It would be
Cricket
quite.
hasn't got the bounce. Let's
Fine,
be honest.
fine.
Or squash maybe.
Yeah. No.
Break the racket.
Yeah.
Break your bloody knees. I saw a good story that both of you will enjoy very much. About Wayne Rooney.
Oh, I'm a huge Rooney stan,
I'm going to
by
give
the
you
way.
guys a chance to have a guess at the answer to this. Wayne Rooney has quite an odd bedtime routine.
Yes. Did you see his wife on The Overlap? Was that where it was brought up?
No, he brought it up on a podcast.
Okay, because this.
Do you know it?
I know exactly what this is. It's been sort of rumored for 15 years.
But now it's true.
I mean, it's more like people bring it up as like an interesting fact, but it never came out of the dog's mouth. It's basically he can only fall asleep if he's got the hairdryer on, right?
The hairdryer blowing air into his face.
Yeah, blowing air into his face, and he still hasn't done like ASMR hairdryer.
Yeah,
12 hours. You know, it's not like white noise. He's literally it has to be that. So he takes it with him. I know what he does. When he's with his wife, the deal is it's a fan. But when he's on tour, he does a hairdryer.
That's when he let his hair down.
He once nearly set the room on fire because he was cold, so he switched it to hot, and it was busting hot air from a hairdryer all night.
How can he get to sleep with
that's like 8 hours of...
I still feel like that's quite sweet that he does that.
It's sweet.
Well, that's what Wayne Rooney is. What's amazing about a lot of footballers is it's just people who, you know, you normally wouldn't know so much about being thrust into the heroic status, you know, elite. And, you know, he's still Wayne Rooney. Like, what I love about him as well, whenever he cheats on his wife, he seems to prefer, he only likes to go for, like, actively unattractive women. That's, like, what he likes most.
Yeah.
He that's what he wants.
Fame hasn't changed him.
No.
He's still a lad from wherever he's from.
Liverpool.
Initial reports were that he does it for the sound and that he hasn't just, you know, you can pretty easily get a hairdryer and sound. But I think it is because he enjoys the feeling of air in his face. Is that some sort of psychological disorder?
I don't know. A lot of people have a lot of white noise stuff. I think that's...
No, but I think it's because he likes the air blowing in his face.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those routines where, like, if you just tried not doing it for a week, I think he'd probably be fine.
Yeah, I guess he's had quite a weird life.
Yeah.
So...
Do you have anything you need to go?
I often will listen to Rain on Tent.
Finger up the bum?
No.
Rain on the Thames?
No, Rain on Tent sound for 10 hours.
Do you like camping?
I think that's just a nice... Because I like the rain sound, but I'm looking at the other rain sounds. I used to like tropical, but it's just crazy because it's like...
Yeah,
it's too much.
It is stressful.
And then all the other... It's the consistency of Rain on Tent that I like.
Yeah.
You know.
A nice UK Rain on Tent.
It's good.
A gentle breeze.
As far as sounds go, Rain on Tent's...
Rain on Tent's up there. I like a gentle, like, stream of a lake. Like,
really?
Slowly. I don't want the ocean because that's too fucking wavy.
Yeah.
That's like chaos. There's like that's, you know, the work of God crashing onto the shore.
Yeah.
Whereas a lake, it's a gentle kind of murmur. Charlie?
I don't listen. I just do it raw, but I have this gay South African couple who live next to me, and one of them belches and screams. I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know if he's done some really awful things or if he's been through a lot, but he basically screams through the walls. So that's basically what I have to go on when I try and go to sleep.
Yeah.
But it's become to sleep without it when you move out.
It has become something that's it's quite a familiar sound for me now. So yeah.
What does the scream sound like, Charlie?
Just like really tortured, full on like agony,
right?
Like scream.
What times would this be happening?
All day long, but often
all day long.
Late night. Well, any time of the day. If he goes to work in the week, so at weekends it could be any time of the
day. Are you thinking at work he's making those noises?
No, but I thought there's two of them, and one of them, they're both a bit troubled. I thought that one of them was really unwell because the ambulance came for him, and then I told the other one about it, thinking he was normal, and then I saw him getting his bike out of his garden for work, screaming, "Evil, evil," and like... He turns out he's the one that's actually doing the screaming. The other one's a bit ill as well.
Oh, fuck.
So he's the secret nutter.
What, are they screaming words?
One of them's like, "Alexa, you're so irritating." And then like... but like, that's more of a normal one. And then the other one is literally like, "Ah! Ah!"
Are they screaming? Are they arguing?
Is it they're not annoyed with each other.
It sounds quite consistent, the scream.
It's very consistent. But it's much more anguish than that. I can't actually do it.
And so you're thinking mental, not physical ailment?
I think mental. I think
like he's mental torture.
Physically, he's fine. He goes rollerblading and stuff.
Fine,
but he's definitely got a lot going on.
Right.
I mean, that's almost quite like medieval, man.
When people come over,
if you're just screaming on a loop.
Yeah,
it's Victorian mental institute.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that. It's like that.
What are you screaming at?
I'll try and record it. I'll record it and bring it in.
Do you think people will actually...
Please record it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, please record it. Do you think people? I feel like people were more crazy back in the day.
It's a good question. It's a question I thought about a lot.
Because everyone's like, no, they were just schizophrenic, whatever. I don't know.
No, because think about it. Now we have mental asylums, which they never had before. That was quite a recent invention.
Yeah.
So you just let those guys, the maddest people, are locked up, really.
Yeah, true.
So those people now are just kind of wandering about.
But they were wandering about.
Yeah, they were wandering about. Yeah.
Just like at the tavern.
Yeah, but then I think there's some people who have quite revisionist views of madness, where they viewed it as like a golden age where, we didn't medicalize it so much and people were kind of like allowed to be mad and they like express themselves
shit on their family and just go about their day.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I think, but it's something that I quite like about just you go to any city in the world and you're going to have just mad people walking around on the streets. That's just like part of any city.
Well, part of a good city is you clean up the mad people, don't you? And you put them in a room.
Is it?
Yeah.
But whenever you travel anywhere, it's like, let's see. Don't you think is it part of the character of a city if you're visiting a new place?
It's
like, let's see your public square. Let's see your church, your big cathedral.
Yeah.
Let's see what your mad people are like because they're always slightly different.
There is
like the best mad people I think are in Scotland. That's a different level.
It's interesting.
Edinburgh, Glasgow. They just cook different up there. Like it's.
There's always a pigeon person though. Do you know what I mean? Every city you go to, there's always a mad person interacting with a pigeon in some way. Have I told you that in front of my building, every morning I wake up to a sea of pigeons on this little piece of grass outside.
Yeah.
And then they eventually flock off. And then there's just this remains of something. There is essentially someone is getting up early and doing like a mass of some sort of pigeon feed. So that they all cluster around in this one circle and feed on it. Never seen them do it.
Now, how do you feel about that? Is it? Are you
furious?
Furious, not in my backyard.
Not in my front balcony, please, sir. Furious and curious.
Yeah,
furious and curious. I'm not really furious. Well, Adam's got a phobia of birds. God bless him.
Right, the guy with the big light on.
The guy with the big light, scared of birds, weird girlfriend.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good for
this guy. He'll be listening to this podcast right now with the big light on. Turn it off.
Apparently, pigeons they're all confused because we used to domesticate them, and then one day we were just like, we don't want anything to do with you.
That's fact check.
Yeah.
And now they're really confused, and we've kind of.
I reckon.
In fairness,
I don't know if they have confused. Do they have confused?
I don't think they've got that in the locker.
In their Rolodex, what have they got?
They look confused, but that's doing it a disservice.
What have they got emotionally in the Rolodex pigeons?
I think it's.
It's like the guys you're living next to.
Yeah, they were domesticated.
Maybe they're pigeons.
And then abandoned.
And they're now considered feral. But it's not like. Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck was going on with like World War and pigeons?
Yeah.
How the fuck are they doing that?
And also.
What do you mean?
I would never be sure. Do you send the message? Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get it. Oh, the lives of many troops hinge on fucking Barry the pigeon.
Did you watch?
How do they do it?
Did you watch that film
Valkyrie?
Valkyrie. The one about the
Valiant.
pigeons.
I meant Valiant. Valkyrie's
Valiant,
a different one.
which no one brings up.
I watched it.
It was an unbelievable film.
Banger. I watched it in the cinema.
I don't know why that was just in that time period. It didn't live on. It's not in the canon.
Wow.
It is a banger. It was about...
Charlie can... It's such a good film. Ewan McGregor, I think, voices the lead. It's about pigeons in World War II.
Is that a peacock? Are they all pigeons?
And then you got like the Nazi pigeons. Then you got the French resistant sexy pigeon. Remember the French resistant sexy pigeon?
I can't remember any of it. It was one of those ones I think I've done a one and done and haven't rewatched, but I distinctly remember it being good.
Yeah,
how does it work? So people pigeon race today because they've got very good honing senses, don't they? Right?
Yes.
But then what do you mean? I'm in France fighting battles.
Go on.
I suppose I've got a pigeon coop there.
Yeah.
And how does a pigeon know to fly to that coop?
It's not like WhatsApp where you can just be like pinging them. It's
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that for me. I thought it was exactly like WhatsApp.
It's not just constantly just...
You know like how we message in the modern time where you do like loads of different messages? That's what they're doing back in the day. By the way, Germans on your back. Look out for that. I think they're
write a longer paragraph. Stop just...
constructed message. Never found it. I actually gave away all of the they need to know in one message, which ruined the joke. But please continue, Horatio.
No, mine's gone as well.
Yeah, we're never going to find out. I think it was one of those things that never happened in history.
What, do you think it's a myth?
I think it was a lie.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
Or maybe they did it once and then they made the thing as if that was what they all did.
Just so that they could make millions off that film. Valiant, who no one's ever heard of. Speaking of sleeping,
You go on.
earlier, you wanted. Can you get on our TikToks, please, Charlie? You wanted to talk about the man who doesn't sleep.
Let's play this. This came on my TikTok and it hasn't got that many likes, which is what I like about it as well. It's not like a viral. It's like quite a bit of a deep cut.
It actually makes them so much better.
Yeah, and just so you know, before watching this, this is not a sketch or anything.
I don't sleep. Napoleon slept 4 hours a night. You shouldn't be sleeping for 8 hours a night.
Yeah.
Do you know how much progress I make by sleeping? Let's say one man's sleeping for 4 hours, one man's sleeping for 8 hours.
Right.
The difference just in 1 week, 7 times 4,
There's a lot of maths coming up.
hours. That's an entire day. Like over a month, that's 4 days. That's 48 extra days. It's like an additional month and a half.
Yeah.
By sleeping less. Compound that over 10 years.
Right.
It is over
Still
a year.
just going on with the numbers.
There's a lot of.
We get it.
And most of you that say, "Oh, I need my 8 hours," you sleep for 10
Fat guy.
every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, man, your competition are not sleeping for that
Yeah.
long.
Okay. Pause.
It's an
Pause.
absolute.
I have never seen a man look more tired.
That's the most tired man of all time.
Look at his
It made me
eyes.
laugh so much because I thought it was a hilarious sketch saying you don't need sleep and then being the tiredest guy ever.
Tiredest guy
Because
ever.
I understand like Thatcher slept for 4 hours, but she didn't look completely
She's got
exhausted.
economic policies
Yeah, but
to do
it's like
as well.
you have to make sure you don't look shattered if you're telling people, trust
He
me,
looks so tired.
go to fucking bed.
8 times 4 is 86. Then you got 3 more months in your pocket. What's the day today? I need some sleep. You
But
need
it's
to go to bed.
It's also with all of this kind of like motivation sphere. It is if you're not successful, the whole thing doesn't work.
He's got 490 followers.
What are you doing with that extra 3 months? You can't. You have to build something before you start getting cocky.
Hold on, alright, show. His bio says he's the world's best salesman.
$4 billion closed. Well, I mean, we're talking about him, I guess.
Yeah.
But you can't just show yourself in like a tailored suit and that's enough.
That was the funniest bit of the video for those of you listening. He was talking about the benefits of not sleeping, and it just cuts to him in a very like a grainy photo of him in a double-breasted suit doing a talk of what I can only assume is a community centre.
While you're in bed.
While you're in bed, I'm talking to a retirement home, trying to sell pyramid schemes.
One thing that felt a bit too close to home is when he says, "You say you only need 8 hours a night, but that becomes 10 hours." And I was like, "Yeah,
That's actually kind of true.
to be fair,
How often? What's your av? What's
I
your
don't know.
average?
Well, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep about 12:40, maybe 1, and then I'm getting up.
Does that mean you can't
9:30.
calculate how many hours?
Yeah, it does.
I'm just asking you to skip that bit.
I to be honest, probably 9 hours.
9.
But I actually sleep 6 hours and then I lie in bed in the morning.
Yeah, well,
I
answer the question. It's
I
not
do,
how
I do,
long
my,
are you
I
in
do my
bed.
morning admin in bed, like Richard Branson does.
I hate
Richard
that.
Branson's. He gets up at 4, so it's a bit different. But he does his first half an hour of work in bed. I do my first 2 hours of work in bed.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I think getting up out of bed is one of the
Get up and out.
It's one of the worst. I really don't like it. Still.
I like it.
You enjoy it.
Like it.
Yeah, you yeah.
I don't like dwelling in there.
No,
Of
I
course.
dwell.
You know,
I dwell
I've
big
done
time.
my dwelling.
I rot, as
I'm
the galleys
now.
would say.
Go on, Chaz.
Sleep-wise, do
Yeah.
you ever have like pleasant? You know, when you're kind of in that nice zone of kind of half awake, half asleep. If you get up for a piss,
Yeah,
for
when you get
example.
like the fever dreams.
Do you ever get the
Good-
nice hallucinations where you kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see like Snape in my laundry, for example,
Right,
or like a little man. Do you ever like have? Do you
Yeah.
ever see things?
Yeah,
No, I don't.
I do. I
don't-
hallucinate sometimes.
Do you see? No, but that's a different level. That's almost like lucid dreaming because you're
No, because I know he's
you're
not there.
hallucinating in the physical world.
Yeah.
I go into a weird dream.
Yeah.
I don't see like my desk and a Harry Potter teacher sitting on there.
That's been happening for me recently.
Yeah.
So it's like augmented reality, right?
Yeah.
And it's always just different.
But it's quite
members of
pleasant. It's
Hogwarts
never like
faculty, is it?
Yeah, it's never like a scary, awful man. It's always
Well,
But is it like a
Snape
Snapchat
is-
filter with like Shrek dancing?
yeah. It's kind of 2D.
Well, I go
Yeah.
back into like a dream, and I've got more. It is a bit more lucid. That is honestly the best part of life.
I cried the
Full
other
stop.
day in my.
That half lucid. This is very depressing. What I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
I'm so aware. I've said it before. It's so dark, but it is the best part of life. When
Yeah.
you've just you've woken up in the morning, you might have. You go back to sleep, but it's not. You don't lose consciousness.
Yeah.
You're kind of in that in between. The moment just before you go to sleep and the moment just before you wake up are the best moments of life. Just kill me.
I get it on the
Yeah.
just before you get to sleep. I think that's
Sometimes,
It's just,
sometimes I'm like,
comfort and bliss.
yeah,
And you can go into your own world. Like when when you're just falling asleep and you're having like thoughts that if you wake up you can't remember what you were thinking about.
Yeah.
because it's very abstract and it's almost.
So you're going into your own world.
imaginary.
For some reason, I'm imagining you going into your own world. It's sort of like the Lloyd's TSB banking ad. Can you get the Lloyd's TSB? This is what I, for some reason.
Not the horse.
The one with the animal. For some reason. That's why I've got a bit quiet. Lloyd's TSB. This is what I'm thinking. You're like smiling.
And it's just like a made-up town somewhere. There's a butcher's. There's a grocer's. Yeah, it is a bit like that. It's very much like that, actually. Just very low stakes, not much happening.
But should we talk about something more serious?
Yeah, it's finally time to address the elephant in the room.
The LA wildfires.
Oh, fuck, we actually are. Christ. You're really throwing me on the bus with the Chagos Islands and the LA wildfires of this. Wildfires.
That's been the big... It's pretty mad natural disaster because obviously very, very tragic, but the news notifications, they are... Some of them are quite funny.
Go on.
Well, it's just like David Schwimmer looks worried.
As house burns down.
But it would be like... I said the early ones were funny. It got less funny. But it was like celebrities that you forget exist. You remember them.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to the Chagos Islands. Oh, yeah. The house is gone.
Oh, that's not good. They'll be quite gassed to be back in the news cycle, but not for the right reasons. Yeah, I've seen a lot of actors who I've just like, that's sad, I guess. Well, bloody Ellen DeGeneres is in somewhere.
Well, she got out of Dodge before it all kicked off, which is suspicious.
Very suspicious. You thinking Epstein?
No.
Neither.
I was thinking... I guess what I was implying, she's moved to England, right?
Yeah.
She moved like a year ago.
Portia de Rossi.
I imagine she went because she knew that the fires were coming.
Right.
Conspiracy
theorists are saying that the government have started this.
Yeah. Well, that's normally to be honest, predictable from the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Not,
They do tend to stay on the same thing.
You surprised me. Oh, it's the government, yeah?
Was it? Yeah.
LA wildfires to cover up Sean Diddy's crimes.
What?
Right.
What, they're just burning the evidence? There's a lot of area to burn just for a small bit of evidence.
So is it like... There's a lot going around as well. So is it climate change? Is it always going to happen because it's dry? Is it the libs mismanaging something?
Who's in charge of California? It must be the libs. Gavin Newsom?
Gavin Newsom, but I don't know if he's the...
I've heard in my very limited knowledge and research of this.
Is it God punishing the hedonistic satanic
It's
Hollywood?
God punishing the gays, you could say. What it is, other than that, but there was like... I don't know. I think this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the residents deserve it. But there's more where that came from.
Yeah.
In terms of, it's always like with the dry, it needed the perfect conditions.
Yeah.
The perfect storm, the perfect firestorm, the perfect wildfire.
It's the perfect storm.
It's the perfect storm wildfire.
But
it needed like the amount of wind.
Yeah.
I've actually watched a program that had a wildfire in it, and it's mostly to do with the wind because a fire can happen. But
Easy.
There's no wind.
All the time.
Hey, look, fire.
Yeah.
Just did it.
Fine.
But it needs wind to travel, and then the embers obviously go, right? So the dry, hot conditions. Please keep going.
Under my wings.
The dry, hot conditions of the
you
wildfire with the wind will spread the embers
in my heart.
and it's been the perfect storm.
Yeah, so it's sort of like the snowman.
Yeah.
I'm flying.
I don't think you can mismanage a what like that much. Do you know what I mean?
Is it just going to happen?
Can't have too much water. No, they've got.
So what's your solution?
My solution. My solution to the wildfires. Yeah. I'm saying bring the sea more in. They've got a lot of water there, right? LA is by the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Put the sea on the fire.
That's good. I don't know why they haven't been doing. Yeah. Well, I bet they have.
You seem to be taking my suggestion seriously.
Well, no, that's not a terrible one.
Yes, it is.
Why not put the sea?
They're already putting the sea on the fire.
Oh, okay, they are. Right, good.
But
if they
weren't,
then
those
they
planes?
should.
Have you seen those planes?
Are they going from the sea and then?
Yeah.
Fine.
And you can only get so much sea.
Yes.
You can't just put the sea on the fire.
Yeah, I mean, you can always conceive of a bigger bucket.
I like your thinking.
Do you know what I mean?
Hey, it's like our solution to a lot of things: to give pay any man £1,000 a year to do it, and he'll get it done.
Well, £1,000 might not be.
100,000.
£1,000 a year is quite. It's not ideal.
Just give him £1,000 or something out. What's your solution?
I mean, I quite like that. I mean, apparently it might be an arsonist. You heard all this?
There is arson going on alongside the wildfires.
Which I'm like, don't be. I really wouldn't be doing that if I was.
Yeah,
if I was
it's
you.
almost like they're stoking the flames.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I saw a video. There was a guy, just this mad guy who just was setting a fire on a walkway, seemingly just like a homeless guy burning leaves. And then like someone came up and was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Have you not just seen?"
Well, there's a lot of mad people in LA.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mad people in LA, aren't there?
Yeah.
I think there are loads of arson springing up, which is just, it's not a healthy town, is it? If there's like people's homes are burning down, and then there's people like, should we set up some more fires? Have you ever been a pyromaniac? Ever into fire?
I was into fire briefly. When
I can see that.
When I moved from London to the countryside, I got into Bear Grylls. I was like, I'm going to go hard.
You did something, didn't you?
I set a Christmas tree on fire. Well, like a mini one.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, because I kept building bigger and bigger fires at night. And then I think I used this like mini Christmas tree to sort of stoke the flames.
Yeah.
So you could hold it with one hand, and obviously it was just dry pine leaves, so it lit up
like
so much. And then I was running outside the window, screaming, "It's on fire! It's on fire!"
It's a good one.
And then the wind picked it up, and it was
Yeah.
I mean, I could have just put it down, but I was worried about setting a wildfire, and as we can see,
the devastation effects in LA.
because that'd be humiliating. It'd be humiliating to start a wildfire.
They could put a big blanket over.
Do
LA.
you know couples therapy?
I'm familiar with the term.
Have you
Weird.
seen the show Couples Therapy?
Is that with
Orna. Her name's Orna.
No.
So Couples Therapy is an amazing show.
What is it?
It's like one of the top couples therapists in the world, basically.
Yes, and it's real life.
It's real life, and they sign a waiver
it.
where basically they get discounted or free sessions with this amazing woman, right?
No
but
chance
the
I'm
thing
doing
is, you're not allowed to edit anything out, so you see everything. It's no chance you're going on.
No chance.
No, I
Would
wouldn't.
you fucking
no,
go
fuck,
on?
No,
Fuck no. You wouldn't pay me to go on there.
Yeah, because
Well,
what if you
can
start
have free
what if you
therapy.
start losing?
What if I start, crying and pooing?
Can we take that bit out? No, sorry, you've signed it.
No,
Oh,
that's in there
fuck.
forever.
Anyway, there was one amazing story. So a lot of these people at first they kind of seem a bit odd, but then you find out more and more, and yeah, I guess everyone's interesting, right? So
Wow.
I mean,
Clip it.
it was like it was a throuple, right? So there's kind of like quite like they're polyamorous people, right?
That you hated.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Fucking dinosaur.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just one fella. I was trying to work out who was.
You're always trying to do that.
No, I was trying to work out which guy's not enjoying it because there's someone. Well, they're couples therapy. Clearly, it's not like
Two guys and a girl.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out one person is having a bad time. I was trying to work out who it is.
Yeah.
And basically, and I was judging them as mamby-pambies. I'll be real with you.
Grandpa Gould. Here he comes. Marching down the patio.
He had this extraordinary backstory. When he was 18, I don't know where he lived. Maybe it was somewhere similar to LA. Anyway, it was somewhere dry in America, right? Him and his friends, they were out camping in the woods. They made a fire, and then they put the fire out, made sure the fire was out, and they got home, and within a couple of hours, there was a devastating wildfire, right? And then the police basically found out about because the neighbors had said that they'd seen these guys make a fire.
Yeah.
And it was this, he got sued by like 100 different people. And he's still convinced, he's completely convinced that he didn't start the wildfire.
And now he can't get it up in the bedroom.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Do you think these wildfires are him as well?
I don't know, but I mean, that's a good start for a film, isn't it? If you don't know who if you did or didn't start a wildfire, and no one died, but it was like millions and millions of pounds of property damage.
Destruction.
And obviously, he's in lawsuits for like 10 years.
Yeah, it's not good.
And he's convinced that he didn't do it. He was like, we checked everything, and it could have been someone else, but that was the closest bit of evidence they had to pinning it on anyone.
Make sure your fires.
And then I think all of his friends threw him under the bus, so he had to bear the brunt of it as well.
Really?
Yeah, it was mad. It was crazy.
That sounds fishy to me.
And so I was like, well, no wonder you're polyamorous, all right? You got a lot of shit to sort out.
Yeah.
If that hadn't happened,
Well, you're just fueling the fire there.
Yeah.
Though. You're just adding grease to the fire.
And he was a good-looking fella, but he'd shaved his head and had a ponytail. So, you know.
Well, he's the one not enjoying it then.
To be fair, us talking about the LA wildfires, it's once again our just complete respect towards any
Those
sort
who
of
die.
Well, no, to natural disasters.
It's
It
true.
seems like a weird theme that's emerging in the podcast.
It's not a very good trope. At all. Oh, great, there's a natural disaster.
Wildfires, to be fair, not an embarrassing way to go.
Of course not.
Unless you're a celebrity. When then it is. Think about it.
I don't know.
Because think about it, because it's your house kind of looks a bit silly.
Your house looks silly.
Yeah, because it's
What?
Because you got like a jacuzzi and like.
But that's their house burned down, not them dying.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
Yeah.
so. I guess they die.
Yeah. I have some concerns about the UK's legal system.
Go on. Right,
That's another
is
screw.
that a different one?
That's a different screw.
Yeah. Right.
There's an interesting program on Channel 4. I'm only one episode in, so I don't know if I'm recommending it as of yet. But basically, what they do is they've taken a real life crime and a real life trial that's happened, and then they get actors to act out the court case with the full transcript. They're doing it to the letter.
Verbatim.
Right?
What's it called?
It's called something like jury murder trial.
Yes. Yeah.
Then they get real life people. Is that all good? Then they get real life people who come in. I guess they've applied on the show or something. But then they separate them into two separate juries, who never communicate or see each other, who then watch the reconstruction of this trial, and then they'll make their verdict, and it's to see if they do the same thing. Okay. And it's also to put cameras in to see how they basically deduce things. The majority of people in England are idiots, right?
Okay.
And that's something that I always forget. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, the average of the population isn't actually that smart.
It's not like averagely smart, right?
No, because an average has to exist for a reason.
Yeah.
In a way. But I don't think I believe in juries anymore.
Really? Okay.
Because they are walking in. There's a few. I'm only talking about a few of them. It kind of works out as the average because there's people going like, "What are you talking about?" They walk in and it's like they'll have 2 hours of this trial, and then it's about like a murder or a manslaughter, which is also interesting for this podcast. And they just walk in and they walk out after 2 hours of hearing it, and they've just made up their mind. They made up their mind, and they're like, "Yeah, it's got to be that." And then they're just like, "Yeah, because my husband used to be a dick, and like I understand how."
Okay, so it's all personal.
It's all personal.
Yeah.
There's no attempt to even begin to think
The
about
critical thinking.
The critical thinking doesn't exist.
Yeah.
They haven't even heard. The defense hasn't started yet. They haven't heard the other side of the argument.
Yeah.
So in reality, there's nothing to actually talk about.
Does it sort of feel like this season's Traitors is a similar vibe? It's
this season's Traitors.
Yeah, it's the jury.
It's just kind of ignoring evidence and just going off vibe.
Well, I was part of a jury, as we.
That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, and I think the jury was all right. It was interesting who became the alphas. It was a real cross section of society. There was ages and gender, race, and it was interesting to see who became the kind of alphas. It was clearly like a 65-year-old. Quite confident man.
Yeah.
He was one. And then it was like a 23-year-old girl.
Right.
It was those two kind of became like the ones who sort of dictated it. Yeah. But I guess with our case, because of how silly it was, it was hard to really show. It was a man wanking out of the window who's saying he wasn't. He was actually just applying ointment to his swollen joints.
Look,
and there was photos of him wanking it off. So it was just like, but there was 4 potential counts of him doing it, and we only charged him for 3.
So for the other one, did you think he was genuinely applying?
To be honest, I probably should have voted against it, but I didn't want to go back over it because they were like, I just can't be sure beyond reasonable doubt from what I've heard that he was definitely wanking. And I was like, I'm sure he was. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure. No,
but that's not what you should do.
Yeah,
you got to have the evidence. It's got to be beyond reasonable doubt. So
that's
you can't
what.
be
That's
like,
it.
I'm sure he was.
Well, that's why.
So you're part of the problem.
No, but we all voted. We all voted.
Yeah,
it's unanimous, and I did agree. But like, I was like, I felt like he was probably wanking.
Look, we all feel like he's wanking
because he can't stop wanking out the window, and then someone. When I say 4 counts, I mean it's just times people have spotted him wanking out the window.
Yeah,
and I just feel
you got to be able to look. You feel it. I'm sure he was, but you can't convict someone out of the feeling, which is what these fucking maniacs are doing.
Yeah,
they're going in and they're just feeling out the vibes, and that's like they're
I
taking
also
this
felt
seriously.
sorry for him, and I was like, I don't know, 3 counts of wanking. I think there's not a huge difference between 4 counts of wanking and 3 counts of wanking.
No,
do you know what I mean?
There's not. You kind of fucked either way, really.
It doesn't feel like a moral crusade on this one. It didn't feel like I had like a
a justification to do anything really with it.
What also was a funny bit is that when the police came to get him, they knocked on the door and he didn't answer, and so eventually they had to get a ladder and go in through the open window,
of which he was wanking out.
Yeah, with the one he was.
They probably slipped on all the cum.
I bet you're desperate to get called up.
Oh my god, give it to me.
What would be the ideal case?
You'd hope for.
I'd be the fucking OJ.
Yeah, but then it's like at 12 months.
Exactly.
It sucks.
I'd fucking love to be called up. Yeah, because I'd be good at it, and I'd be the one whipping everyone into shape. But
so with what are these sort of trials that are on this show?
It's just
murder. Okay, is it
one
murder?
for 4 episodes?
Murder,
manslaughter. But that's something we'd also been confused about on the pod recently.
Now,
It's like what I thought was murder back in the day is apparently you can murder manslaughter.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He was. It's the
Well,
choice is
manslaughter
he's
would be you
confessed to-
chuck a cigarette by accident and you blow them, you set them on fire.
There's different degrees of
So there's a
manslaughter.
guy who's showing off this party trick where he can shower in petrol, and then you're walking past and you flick a cigarette and it lands on him. That
Sounds a bit gross negligency to me about the man who's bathing in.
Oh, so
petrol.
that's not manslaughter because it's still technically you're still technically killing him
By
right?
flicking your cigarette, you're doing an illegal act of littering, which is then
Okay, so the littering is what you're going to get them on
you're
the
going to
littering.
get it on the littering.
That'd be great if it was like, to be honest, it's not your fault you died, but it's still illegal to drop cigarette butts.
So you owe us 50 quid. No, that's an illegal act. So, but there's negligence everywhere. You can't walk around the street in fucking look. You can't walk around the street bathed in petrol, can you? There's variations because we discussed this before. Because I have no idea about this. But there's like I'm in a car and I slip. I slip and my and then I turn the wheel into an oncoming pedestrian. Manslaughter.
Right. Yeah.
But this bloke killed his wife with a hammer.
Oops.
Whoopsie. But he's admitted to manslaughter, but not murder.
Or was he trying to hang up?
Because
He's trying to
astonishingly-
hang up a picture and her
Yeah.
face got in the way.
Yeah. Oh fuck! What are you doing? But yeah, it's like so. But murder is about having premeditation or intentional, but without premeditation.
I feel that's not the point of meditation
That's
either.
not what murder is.
Do you know what I mean?
No. What?
That's not the point of meditation.
You're meant to chill out. You're meant to balance your chakras, not plan to kill your wife with a hammer. He's really not understood the workings of Buddha that much at all, has he? Premeditation. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Isn't that mad? Like if you see red or just go in a weird mist and you lose control, then that's manslaughter. I'm like, nah, that's murder. But
yeah,
it is weird, but
Yeah.
I'm now being convinced otherwise.
like a crime of passion. That it's basically you saying,
Imagine
well,
like-
if you planned it 30 seconds before, then
Yeah.
it's not murder.
Well, imagine if you kept selling I smell of poo on this podcast, and I then eventually, you just kept saying it, and I got so angry I lost control that I stabbed you here. That could potentially be manslaughter, not murder.
Yeah.
And I just go away for 2 years.
But then, so because it seems like the law courts really think that murder you need to be like, and then
It's very Bond villain.
oh,
isn't it?
you have to have gloves and you're like,
Yeah. Or it's like a game of mousetrap.
yeah,
You know, when you've like
Yeah.
planned it all out. Like Home Alone.
yes, setting up the
That
trap.
kind of level of premeditation.
So what kind of things on this show are people doing that are so
They're going like,
so thick?
everyone is just, they all have their own preconceptions, which is kind of part of it. And none of them are legal.
I don't. So.
No, you're the very rare case. Mr. Objective. That's what they call it. Whenever you need
I'm one of the few people who doesn't have any preconceptions.
It's true.
It's
It doesn't
amazing.
often come in handy, but it does in this case. Yeah, they've all got a lot of preconceptions and none of them are leaving them at the door. It's infuriating to watch because they're all like, someone's like, yeah, my husband was kind of abusive to me. This guy's a murderer. It was like,
But do you think the guy's a murderer?
I don't know yet because
Oh,
I haven't
fine.
heard the defense
Fine,
yet.
fine,
I haven't heard the whole bloody case.
Does it seem
But
like
this
it
is what
is?
juries are like. Get
Yeah.
rid of it. Get
Yeah.
rid of juries.
But the juries haven't heard the whole case.
Exactly, but
So-
they're already making their
Yeah.
fucking decisions.
But it is very Traitors vibe then.
It is very Traitors.
Yeah.
It's kind of like...
Which this current season
Yeah.
is.
It's vibe-based, not evidence-based.
This current season's quite disappointing at the moment.
Other than Yin.
Yeah.
Yin, just quickly get up this. We can finish on this.
yeah.
Yin was the first lady to go out in the Traitors, if we all remember Yin.
Yeah.
Her TikTok is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of played it terribly. It was the dumbest way to play it by saying you're smart.
Yes.
And then
so
saying you can read people.
So if you were going in, this is what I was thinking before we start this.
Yeah.
What I've learned, and it is one of the big flaws in the game.
Yeah.
It's a great game, but one of the big flaws is a lot of the talent goes early.
Yeah.
Right? So you are left with a lot of thickies. And it's hard to say I played the game perfectly because it's quite easy.
There's a lot of luck.
It's quite easy to play it well and still go out.
Yeah.
I would maybe play potential. There's one girl pretending to have a Welsh accent. I might pretend to be like Simple Jack. You'd have to.
I'd go in and I'd play it a bit like Ralph from The Simpsons. I'd go in with a crayon up my nose.
Yeah, and then you slowly get more and more. You kind of add a level
Of dumbness or
intelligence each. Yeah.
No, I agree.
You'd have to.
I mean, there's someone every year who goes in and says, I'm amazing at reading people, and then they get killed off. It's a great trope of the Traitors. This year it was, is it Yin?
Yeah, it's Yin.
It's Yin, who is clearly a very colourful character.
But Yin already has followers off the back of it. She was on screen for like...
She does, because she's doing shit like this. So Yin is also horrible and kind of funny, I guess, but just a bit sad about seeing everyone who's on the Traitors just like scrambling on TikToks.
Which I don't think the early seasons was quite like that, but now it is like...
Now it's like, oh, I can make a like, you know, a living out of this.
No.
Yin's gone on an interesting direction. She's doing kind of she's doing parodies of songs and changing the lyrics to traitor-based things. So let's have a listen to this one.
Am I faithful?
No backing music.
Or am I traitor? The signs are subtle. You're so unsure. And you're on your board, forced to write the answer. Am I faithful? Or am I traitor?
Cloak comes back.
Am I
still going.
faithful?
She's going to get the cloak for the third time.
Or am I
Yeah, she is.
traitor?
Right.
She's meant to be the one with the doctor. Right?
Yeah. So when
Go
was
on her
that
profile.
released? Because you didn't even do a round table. So
Yeah.
at what point did she make this? Is it when she found out she was on the show? Is it when she got back from being kicked off the show?
It's a good question.
Is it she probably
Well, what they're doing is they're desperately scrambling to work out what their talents are
yeah.
and what they can put on the internet to give them something to do. They've been on television. They've got a few minutes of fame. What can I do to capitalize on this? What am I good at? What can I put on TikTok, on the internet that makes this fame last? What can I do? So she's got parody songs, which is something, you know, we do a bit of.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, just go on the chapter one thing. She's done this odd recreation. So what she's done a dramatic reenactment of of when she went off the reality show that she was on. It's fascinating watching. Just play.
Chapter 1, in which our very own Doctor of Communication falls flat on her own sword. So, here's the game plan. Triple-pronged, like a pastry fork. First prong, be vulnerable. In this game, as in real life, vulnerability is far more powerful than confidence. Number 2, be quiet. Less is more. Keep your insights to yourself. You talk far too much.
Is this what she learned?
Number 3, remember Professor Arabian's cardinal rule of communication. 7, 38, 55. And, above all else, stay far, far, far away from the library. Let the Scousers give reading. Oh!
Wait. Go back.
Let the Scousers...
And, above all else, stay far, far, far away from the library.
Right.
Let the Scousers give reading.
Pause.
Right. What the fuck?
She's mental. That's insane. What do you mean let the Scousers give reading? Have you got any idea what that means?
There's 2 Scousers on the show.
Let them give reading. Let the Scousers give reading. But the joy of Yin is essentially like someone who signed up for a reality TV show, got it, great, and then suddenly realizes there's a once in a lifetime opportunity to make it on the internet in whatever way, and she's just pulling at whatever string possible she can find, which is odd reenactment / lessons she learned from the thing, and then parody songs. And look, she's getting views because it's so insane, and she's actually maybe playing it brilliantly.
Well, so Traitors would be better, right, if it was like coach trip, and it was just people who are doing that, and that's 100%.
It.
Because now more and more now people are going to use this as a opportunity,
a springboard.
Yeah, which will.
It is. It makes it boring. And because they're getting people who already have a TikTok following in.
But I think also what some people don't understand is that even if I could get really into someone for the game, but I like you in the game.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing, is seeing you in the game.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear your podcast.
I really don't. Yeah, I want. That's
Why
it.
would
that's
I?
the end of it.
Yeah,
and because
it's so true. Just scram because you get this one win. What can I do? Just juggling.
What can I do? And what they can essentially do, or doing whatever that is, and making parody songs that kids can fundamentally make. But then what they also do,
mad dash, because also the next season comes on.
Well, that's exactly. But the next season comes on, and now the guys from last year are climbing out of the woodwork. I think some of them have been around a bit, but now they've all got their Traitors podcasts, and they've realised what they can do best is talk about the Traitors, but the Traitors is only on for a certain amount of time in a year.
So yeah, it was like my grandparents were opening up a Christmas gifts shop. You know, it's a seasonal.
It's exactly like that.
It's, you know,
yeah.
It's like you got to find.
It's seasonal work. It's seasonal work, is what it is.
Right.
But respect to Yin.
We're going to go over to the Patreon now. It's been a pleasure. How have you enjoyed the new setup?
Very much so.
I like it. It's much more...
It's a lot better. I feel like the chairs are good.
It's also... I don't know if you guys have heard this. I hope there hasn't been any clangs, but I think we've come a long way from the clang.
Is that a clang?
I've not heard any clanging.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Well, yeah, Andrew.
That's now clanging.
Yeah, that's clanging.
I did that.
Fa-tang, click-cong.
Clang.
See you next week, boys. And girls.
And girls.
And
Christ.
they, thems.